Hi guys, welcome to the day 8 of the fantasy roster prediction, and today there will only be 5 teams to choose from, and today's prediction is going to be really spicy. I'm not going to cut to say too much, but I'll just show you right now what my picks are. And if you notice something among my picks, you see that all the players that I picked are from OG. Why did I do this? Is it just because I'm rooting for OG? No, let me tell you, yes, I do think that OG is a team that can go further in this tournament, but it's not as simple as just thinking that OG is a good team. But I do think that today, it really is a right choice to go all in on either Team OG or Team Spirit, even go in on the offlaner or the position 4 or position 5. So why? Let me show you the data. This is the data from yesterday. We know that VP lost and will be going down to the lower bracket. We know that today the first match is between Spirit and OG, followed by T1, VG, and then VP and either Spirit or OG. So among these 3 games today, there's only 3 series, and in today's game, one team will be playing 2 series. It will either be Team Spirit or Team OG, and that matters a lot because in one series you can get maybe 30 plus points per player, but if you have another series you get another 30 points, or if the player isn't doing so well, then in the second series maybe you can get 20 points instead of 30 points. But if you think about it, if you get an average of about close to 50 points per player because of 2 series, it is still probably more than one series, even if a player does really well in one series and get 40 points. So how do you justify that? So let me first say that I think that OG's win probability over Spirit is 80%. That's why I put 0.8 here. Whereas for Spirit, I think that win probability over OG is 20%. That's why I put 0.2 here. Also, this thing that you see here is called a multiplier index, where I think that if OG does win with an 80% chance, when they go into the second series, there's no guarantee that OG will still be performing well, and that's why I multiplied this 0.8 with 0.75, which then means that I only allocate 60% of their usual average points to the second series that they'll go through. And then for Spirit, although I think that they have a 20% chance of winning OG, I also times it by 0.75, which means that I only allocate 15% of their average points to the second series, and this is so that we don't overly inflate the results for the second series, because there's no guarantee that OG or Spirit would win in the series after, even if they beat the current one. So how does that work? I take the average point, let's say for Sumir 17.14, and I multiply it by this multiplier to give me kind of an expected points for OG if they play 2 series, even if they don't do great in the second one. And the result of multiplying 17.5 with 1.6 is that they give me 27.4. And if you look at 27.4, for this is the OG players, and you compare it to say Team Spirit, even after multiplying Team Spirit player, none of them go above 20. And then if you look at the T1 players playing today, even though they score really high, the highest is 19, and that is also not higher than Sumil. And then if you go down to VP, you go down to VG, none of these are also above 20. And that means that if OG is safely going to play 2 series, their score, which most of them would be above 20, it will be really significant. And that means that almost all the OG players will score higher than all the other players as long as they play 2 series. The same could be said for Team Spirit, but lesser, because I give them a lower multiplier index, as I don't think that they have a great chance to win over OG. But let me now justify why I think that OG will probably win. It's not so much just to do with OG being a 2-time TI winner, but there are other factors. For one, OG is more experienced than Team Spirit, and if you look at the data, right, one thing I want to highlight is stuns. If you look at OG's players and then you look at Team Spirit players, you can see that OG players stuns much more, and both of these teams like to initiate or fight, but the player team that executes fights better and has more stuns might have a better ease of execution to win fights. Secondly, team fight. If you look at the team fight numbers, yes, Team Spirit team fight is decent as well, but Team Spirit team fight is not as much as OG's team fighting. And OG's team fight, Seb and Saksa participate a lot. Even Sumir and Toxin participate quite a lot. But if you look at Team Spirit, their carry, their mid doesn't participate as much. In fact, all their players don't participate as much except their pause 5. And why? This is because if you look at Yatoro and Toronto Tokyo compared to Sumir and Toxin, you see that yes, Sumir farms quite a lot and all that, but if you look at the Yatoro and Toronto Tokyo, Yatoro and Toronto Tokyo has less deaths. Yatoro and Toronto Tokyo focuses on farming or split farming to push different lanes and the jungle. Whereas for Sumir and Toxin, yes, Sumir himself does farm quite a lot, but as a whole, OG will keep pressuring hard and they will keep going at you and they will take away objectives. How do I know that they take away objectives? You look at tower kills, look at rush kills. If you look at tower kills and rush kills for OG, you will see that it's quite significant. Whereas for Team Spirit, their tower kills and rush kills are less. And also for farm vs fight and stacking, let me mention stacking. Even though OG is more fight oriented and more objective oriented compared to just splitting up all across the map to farm, you can see that OG, they still stack a lot. If you compare it with Team Spirit, OG stacking is slightly worse, but it is not that bad. Their stacking game is still quite close to Spirit, and this says a lot because it means that OG, they are the ones who will be fighting more often instead of farming, but yet they also do stacking, and then this means that they can still keep up some level of fun game while fighting into the opponent with more stuns, resulting in easier ease of execution. And since they focus a lot on taking objectives like taking Roshan at 10 plus minutes and taking towers at 10 minutes, this makes me favor OG because I think they will be the ones that can still likely get enough farm but yet pressure the opponents hard enough and have easier execution because of stuns. So that's why I go 80% that OG will be the ones that have 2 series today, which means that they will score higher. Okay, now that I've explained this, I hope I've give a good case for why you should put OG players. But one question that you may have now is, I get that I should put Sumir, I get that I should put Thompson, I get that I should put Sapsa, who's the highest scoring support, but why should I put Seb and No Tier as well? Seb and No Tier aren't scoring so high, even after the multiplier. I would say that yes, that's true. If Seb gives only about 16.7 after the multiplier, and No Tier gives about 18.4 after the multiplier. But one thing you have to bear in mind is that these players, my multiplier is only 1.6. If OG does still do quite okay in the second series, the multiplier could be 1.7, 1.8 or even 2. So that's why this score here is slightly lower than it could be. Yeah. Also, another way to decide whether or not to choose Seb is to compare Seb multiplier score with the other core players such as Collapse, such as 23 Savage. So if I compare Seb's multiplier with the other core players, this is Seb's score after multiplier and after adding my card bonus to him. My card bonus for him is tower kills, rush kills and can stack, and then I multiplied it up with Seb and I get an average score of 17.25 for Seb. So if you compare Seb with the other core players who are playing, Yatoros will get 19.7 after adding card bonuses. Collapse will get 12.6. 23 Savage will get 14.3. And Nightfall will get 17.1. You can see that Seb is still higher than most of the other core players. The only one that is lower than is Yatoro. But then again, you have to think about this. The matchup will be OG versus Spirit. And if I think that OG will be the one that own the series or win the series, then it means that Team Spirit side will not be doing as well. And if Team Spirit side will not be doing as well, then Yatoro's score will likely be less than 19.6. It will be maybe 19, 18. Whereas for Seb, the average score will probably be higher in this series because I think OG will be the ones that are winning. So instead of 17.2, it may be 17.5 or 18. So this means that Seb's scores and Yatoro's scores shouldn't be too different. It should be almost the same, which then means that both Seb and Yatoro will be the next highest scores to choose from aside from Sumail. And so if that is the case and there isn't much difference, then there shouldn't be any issue to choose Seb even though he's an offlaner. If you look at No Tail 18.4 and you compare it with the other supports like Miposhka, let me select the supports. Miposhka, Whitemon, Save. You can see that all these other supports here is get 15, 13, 17, 12, 12, 14, 13 compared to No Tail after multiplier will be 18. So No Tail would score the highest after the multiplier among all the supports. And because of this, I can safely say that as long as OG plays the 2 series today, they will score higher than all the other players. The only one who may not score higher than the other players is Seb, because Yatoro could be a core that score higher than him even in a 1-game series. But even then, I believe in my boys because I think they have an 80% chance of winning, and Sumail has been a consistent player, Saksa has been a consistent player in terms of fantasy points, and so this is my hot take for today. Go with all of OG today. Of course, one last consideration that you want to have is to look at your card bonuses. You can use this spreadsheet and then you can input in the bonuses to have for each player, and then the formulas here will calculate for you to help you to see your average score after you put in the card bonuses. I hope that this helps you, and I hope you enjoy this spicy take that OG will take the highest points today because we have 2 series. With that, thank you for watching, all the best, and see you tomorrow.